Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Divi Spaces. I'm Renuk. We're hosting the Divi Spaces today with Voice and Rob. I'll start with a quick update and a quick introduction to Divi for those who are joining us later on and going to listen to it later. And for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Divi Spaces. And for our community who's always been there, again, great to see you all. And as per usual, do raise your hands, ask questions as we go on. Today, hopefully, will be a quick one than usual, but you never know. We'll see. So what we're going to do today is to talk through a few things on DAO updates, Divi 3.0, staking with vaults, and then we have some questions on NFT 2.0 and a few other things. So we will go through all of those things. As from Divi's side, so as most of you all know by now, we've been here since 2017, and our focus is about making crypto easy and accessible for everyone, everywhere. And that's always going to be the case. And for the last 6 months to 8 months, you've probably heard us talk over and over about utility, and that's what we're going to be talking about today as well. Because obviously, it's very important that having all that crypto and what you actually do with it. So without further ado, we'll go straight into it. Over to you, boys, for a quick update on the desktop side and mobile side.
Well, sure. I'll update you really quick for everyone who's on this call. Of course, as Manuk stated, please do share out the channel, retweet the channel. It's very important, some of this knowledge that we share here. Some people have the desktop that they've been updating. If you've got a Windows machine, and it's not all Windows machine, it's just random. I don't know. There's no reason for it. But if you've got a real old legacy wallet, let's say 192 with 201 daemon, you're so far behind. You definitely need to update and you need to get going because nothing really you will do will be beneficial or usable in the future. It doesn't mean that anybody's ever at risk of coin loss or anything like that. But if you're working, you need to have the right tools for the job. So make sure that you update your Divi desktop application. The current minimum versions you should have is the graphical, the desktop itself is a graphical interface. You click buttons. That version should be 2.0.0. Now there's an engine underneath. That engine is what powers the blockchain. That's what makes you the blockchain. And that engine that you need to have is at minimum 2.14.0.0. And that's progressing, of course, very rapidly to Divi 3.0, as you've been seeing the mentions about it. So make sure that you're updated. That's key. As far as those updates go, you will see rolling iterations of updates from the desktop team, and they will have some that will be coming very, very soon again as we move from 2.00 to 2.0 whatever. And maybe we will even see another engine update as we keep rolling towards Divi 3.0. Your desktop applications, unless you're on Linux, will always, if current, show you that there's an update available, and it's a signed, secured update. So make sure you do apply those. And that's all I have for that at this moment in time. If you have the Divi wallet itself, there was a major update. If you missed the announcement on that, there was many user experience, many options, and many changes in that Divi Mobile Wallet. If you don't have the latest, you need to update on that. That will resolve some of the usability and display functionalities that we had in the last version. And if you don't know how to update your Divi wallet, I was sending out some instructions. But to find out if you're updated, simply go to your app store and then look up your installed apps or look up the Divi wallet. And in Google Play and in the iOS Apple Store, it will show you. It'll actually ask you to either open the app that you have, and that means you have the current latest release. Or if it needs an update, it's simply going to state update. And so you'll have all the features and functionalities either in Google Play or the App Store. If you have any hurdles there, just visit us in Discord for general questions that are not needing to be secure. But if you have other questions that you need answered, please do put in a ticket in a conversation in our support portal. And that's all I have for you.
That's great. Thank you so much, boys.
Absolutely.
Rob, over to you to do a quick update on DAO. I think we've got a few things to mention on that today. Oh, I think he's still on mute.
Did you mute Rob?
Rob?
Mute. Yeah, I'm talking to nobody, apparently. Yeah.
You're kind of quiet, too, so move that
yeah,
microphone.
I just want to... Oh, I don't have a microphone. I'm traveling. I have my headphones.
Oh, that's better.
For me, it's fine. It's clear. Yeah, now it's better.
That's better, so I'll mute myself.
I will just speak louder, I think. So anyway, I want to reiterate the importance of the DAO. As we move forward, more and more responsibility will be moving towards the DAO. And so please sign up. It's easy to sign up right now. Once we implement our governance system, it'll be a little bit more, have more requirements in terms of what it takes to become a member of the DAO. But if you're a member now, you can have some influence on how that governance takes shape. And so on that moment, on that note, there are 3 discussions happening. There's no voting right now. There are 3 discussions happening. The first is I put up because I got a little jolted by an article I was reading about how DAO members were getting sued and successfully. And the primary reason was that the DAO of that project was holding funds of people's DAO members. And then one of the DAO members was cranky, sued the DAO, and won. So need to be sure that everything that the DAO does is non-custodial, and that it won't engage with using tools that are custodial. So the key is to keep the custody out of the DAO. So DAO members will own their own NFT and basically show it as a pass to getting to participate with the DAO and things like that. So I put it up as a proposal. I'm going to put it up as a vote just to make sure that it's well understood and kind of ingrained in further DAO proposals, because all of this will be codified into a document. Everything that we voted on will be codified into a document. And that final document will be voted upon when the mechanics are all ready and all that kind of stuff. So the key is to participate now so you can get a hang of it, become familiar with it, and get comfortable with it so that you can grow along with it as it grows and changes going forward. So that's really what Proposal 11 is about. It should be a no-brainer to vote for that, because it's really the same Divi concept of really keeping, making solutions as non-custodial as possible. Proposal 12 and 13, there's nothing to vote on yet. I put them up as a place for people to drop images. So if you want, so the idea is that the voting NFTs and the proposing NFTs all needs some sort of an image that we want there. It could be a Divi symbol, it could be a photo, it could be a drawing, anything. But since both the voting and the proposing NFTs are tiered, there should be a way to tier the image. So either something gets a change of color, or a number changes, or there's a word or something that goes through the different tiers for each of the things. So that's the only 2 kind of requirements. So put up some art that you think is good. There's another requirement about the art size you put up. Try to keep it under a megabyte. And the two formats are JPEG and PNG. What does PNG stand for? Is there a word associated with that?
I've been using it for years. I have no idea.
Yeah, me either. Okay, so PNG. So those are the 2 formats. And go ahead and submit, whatever you want, right in that discussion. And then there's also a form. So the better place is to put it in the forms. If we get a bunch of them, then there's one place, and you don't have to scroll up through a bunch of stuff. So please put it in the form, and if you want to, make a copy and put it in the discussion. But the form is the place where I'm going to be picking them out of and putting them all up for vote. And I guess, I'll think about the voting. It may have to be a series of voting or a priority voting kind of things, in case there's ties and so forth. But that's what the proposal 11 and proposal 12 and 13 are about. So those are the three proposals that are being discussed, but there's no voting yet. Once there's enough discussion, I think 11 is ready for a vote, but unfortunately I'm on vacation or workcation, whatever I'm on. I'm in France, and I won't be able to get to them until I get back on the 6th, because my ledger is at home. Sorry about that. We need to get the DAO to be not centralized around me. It's pissing me off. We need to get this thing done. So I'm hoping we can get some pictures and we can get all three of those done when I get back.
Divi 3.0, brother. Then we won't have to worry about it being on Ethereum.
Yep.
Future.
There you go. Exactly.
I want to just add that this is something that, again, that it needs inspiration. Many of you I've talked to, and many of you that will be listening to this in the next coming week as they listened over Twitter, and I'll eventually get it over onto YouTube also. You're not used to this, and many of you have been participating passively, and that's unfortunately something that's been encouraged by influencers, and influencers who use the term passive. Generally, it's misplaced, right? There's nothing about what we've ever done that is passive. The blockchain is and only has been the community, which means you running your staking node, you running your master node. The only thing that's made it somewhat passive or somewhat easier is Mochi, or as Rob would tell me not to use, Vochi. It's the way that certain things are set up for you, kind of like using a rental host somewhere. An Airbnb can set something up for you and you can go use it. That's the only thing that's making it somewhat easy for you. But what makes Divi and what will make Divi of the future is your participatory involvement in proposals, and that will come with hurdles. You will not understand some of the things, and that means you may want to ask lots of questions. You may have ideas and directions where you want to see Divi go. You should write those up. If you want help in writing those things, I know Rob would engage with you. I will engage with you. But in most of the communities I came from years ago, we're talking about, this is 2023, so probably somewhere around almost 8 years ago, the communities drove everything. And here, since we're now moving in that direction, the community hasn't had that opportunity, which was going to be installed and run through master nodes, but vaults displace that and make actually a better process for everything. You're going to be doing that with your vaults, and this NFT design is to honor you. It's to give you your pass to vote. It is, you are a citizen of the Divi blockchain, but who is the country? You're the country also. So it's made up of you, and what you want Divi to be is in your image. And so you need to start jumping in and start offering ideas and you guys can't see a post, but Rob just told me not to use Vochi again. Anyway, so you have to get involved, and you have to, really, I don't even know what to say. When do I not know what to say? I guess what I should say is I'm frustrated that we're not involved as much. That's probably what I would say, is that we really need to get into the community, read the proposals, and get involved, right? How do you get people involved? Everybody here is involved. You're on the spaces now. And so it's not an external thing to where you can just tell people to get involved. It's an internal thing to where you want to see the foundation start driving and the offerings of utility start driving. This is about you. It's about me. It's about Rob. It's about everyone in the channel. It's about Tom. It's about JS Gar. I can just start reading names of everybody. It's about Mike. It's about all of you. And so get involved. Start voting. If you don't know how to do it, ask me. I will happily help. But you do need currently eDivi. And so you need to get some eDivi if you don't have it. You can do it right through the Divi Mobile Wallet. But I can help you with that and get you all set up. So you're participating and you're creating votes. And I will stop rambling now. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. The one comment I would say is I suspect, I don't know about this being true, but I suspect that there's a kind of a feeling that if I or some of the other people who are part of actual Divi Labs want the thing, that you should go ahead and vote for it. I don't think that's true. I really think that it's important that you read these things and kind of form an opinion, ask questions, and vote no if you don't like it. Go ahead and vote no. And that's your power. And if one of these things don't go through, it doesn't mean we're not going to have a DAO. It just means we're not going to have the DAO that vote was kind of that part was being implemented by that vote. So feel free, to say no. If you don't like something, a few people have done it. I voted no on something. So feel free to go ahead and do that. It's important that you actually speak your mind there and really dive into what we are doing. There seemed like some of the reading I've been doing recently there seems to be some regret on the way we designed the governance tiers. My answer to that right now is that once we have this in place, the DAO is once again free to change it. I just want to get something in place so that we can run, and then or get to running. And when we're running, you guys can change whatever, or we as a group can change whatever you want. And the other thing on Voice's note there was I think some of it, Voice. I think some of it is really a lot of fatigue. Honestly, I have it too. I have to goose myself every once in a while about thinking about, the cool stuff we're doing. I do admit that I get to see and really dive into the conversations we have around Divi 3.0 and all. So I can easily get excited about what is coming out, and I get to play in playgrounds that were playing in like 2 years ago when I was discovering all this stuff. So I do have a little bit of that, but there's a lot of burnout and fatigue from a long bear. A lot of questions about, are we going to make it and all that kind of stuff. And all I can say is we're still going. I haven't even I was very when I did that bike thing for the kids in Africa, that was a lot of fun. But I'm super leery about doing something like that again now, because we're not in a really fun time at the moment. So I think a lot of the lack of participation is my perception, by the way. I'm not saying this is for a fact, but my perception is there's just a lot of fatigue from, just being hammered down and down and down by price and by the market and by the governments that are fighting crypto, and seeing other governments that are doing it right and being free in one area of the world to do something and not free to do that same thing in another area of the world. It's extremely frustrating. And I share the frustrations, believe me. But my personal answer to that was to come on board and try to help things along. Other people's personal answer are to get out. Other people's answer are to, ask the hard questions. So I think, I want, and Voice wants, and Renuk and everybody, we want you to be involved. The DAO is one way to get involved. Pushing ahead on some of these other stuff and running nodes and all that. These are all ways to get involved, and we appreciate all of them.
Well, I think people want to know how they can get involved and what they can do. This is a blockchain, whether it's Bitcoin or Divi or any other blockchain. Unless it's a platform, if it's true blockchain, it's a participatory environment, right? You can be passive. Yeah. You can just hodl. You can. I mean, what do we do and this is not a rip on anything. In fact, I'm a huge proponent of Bitcoin. But what can you do with your Bitcoin? Well, you put it in your wallet. When you put it in your wallet, can you run a miner? Can you do it yourself? How do you participate in the block governance there? How do you do it? Well, most of us would just sit here and go, I don't know. Or you have to invest tons of money. Here you are actually the blockchain, you're actually mining, you're actually doing all of those things. Plus, you'll be able to vote and drive it in that specific direction of Divi's utility that's coming, those great offerings and opportunities. So it's about you more than anything. And I think that's sometimes you have to be able to share that in a way that inspires people. But you're right. Yeah, there's a little bit of apathy. The market is terrible right now. Divi has actually it's very aware that we're as a community we have a challenge, right? That's right now. And I think what we're trying to express is that the team behind building everything for the foundation is on fire. I can't even express how on fire they are. And they've been behind the scenes this whole entire time building this for you. And it's not building it for Labs. Labs is an external company, but they're building it for you. And that you equates to a giant yes when you say, can we do something? And it's not just can we do something. We as a community will all decide upon and vote upon whether we will do something. So you can dream it, but we all got to get behind it and do it. And you don't have to code it. The coding in many cases can be done based upon some ideas. So unless you're working on the blockchain, you don't have to worry about it. But how do you do things to help? And one of those ways to help, which helps everything, is your participatory voting in the DAO or proposing things in the DAO, and continuing running your staking vault, supporting the blockchain and or your desktops and doing those kinds of things.
Well, I think that's a good time to talk about staking vaults. Actually, it's a nice segue. That voice. Yeah. Who wants to take it, Rob?
Yeah, just to change the voice to a scratchier, louder, mumblier one. Sure. I'll just talk a little bit about vaults, but honestly, voices. He really loves these things. But so they came out a while ago. I think there's a history here. Most of you probably know about it. They came out. I think are we past 2 years? Are we 2.5 years of having vaults?
I don't think so. I think we're close to that because they were first released in their minimum viable product on mobile, right? So yeah, vaults came after.
They weren't. They were on the core.
Yeah, but they were shortly on the core where you did that white paper. So yeah, or that Medium article.
Yeah, but that was in January. Anyway,
doesn't matter.
So it's been a while. And anyway, so and I was playing with them early on, and by the way, I'm trying to play with subscriptions in the exact same way now as I did vaults way back then. And it's neat about it, learning, and there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in there that I can't wait to kind of describe. But vaults was something that had been out for quite a while, and then they ended up in a nice easy version of it ended up in the in the mobile wallet, in a way that it was really easy to kind of get your funds doing some work for the blockchain, and now they are available on desktop. And the big difference, there's a couple of big differences. And the way they're deployed, underneath everything is largely different, and far more efficient, maybe is the way to say that.
Well, I think as I described it, vaults in the first go around were a minimum viable product, right? So that means that they were the idea, they were proved, they're solid. Even in the mobile, they're solid, right? But in the full reveal of the vault's power comes in what you currently see in the desktop, and that will come to mobile too. So it's a lot of technical behind the scenes stuff, but yeah, that's what's going to bring us.
But anyway, so they're available, and you can use them, and as we move forward and as we start to send to the masternodes, that's what everybody will be using. You still have the option to stake on your own and not use a vault. It's kind of important. The node that you're running on your desktop, unlike the wallet you're running on your mobile, The node you're running on your desktop is an actual Divi node. It keeps a copy of the ledger, and it's providing core functionality for the entire network. You can run a vault, which means you can close your computer, and the actual work is being done somewhere else, or you don't even have to. You can stake as you have been staking on your desktop computer in the exact same way. You can use your computer to run a node right. We call those a hot node, right then and there. There's a lot of kind of like considerations to take place, that you need to take place to consider for yourself, which are, if you're going to run your own node, you definitely need to keep your computer updated. You got to make sure it doesn't, it updates when you want to, otherwise it will turn itself off. You got to make sure it doesn't turn itself off. And then there's also, how confident do you feel that someone isn't going to get into your computer? Because when you're running a hot node, your funds are right there. When you're running a cold node, where the funds are and where the work is happening are two different places. So when you're running a vault, that's the model we're using. It is a more secure model than if you're running a hot node where the work and the funds are in the same place. So that's the difference. So now I run a hot node, and I lock down my computer as best I can. I don't use it for internet surfing. Nobody really knows that computer is running. So there is, I just told everybody, but nobody knows where. So it's not that it's insecure. It's just the security is as good as you make your computer when you're running a hot node. The security is as good as a ledger wallet when you're running a vault. That's really the big difference. Now, Voice, I'm sure you want to add. Or not?
Nope.
Am I all by myself? Okay.
I muted myself because I tend to suck all the air out of the room. So no, I think you did great. I think everybody can clap their hands. It was a good job. So no, I think we're good.
Yep. Yay. Awesome. I think, cool. And then we've also got a quick update on some blogs that are coming, so keep an eye out for those around Divi 3.0. So Rob and the team's been working on that. So those are coming out over the next few days as well.
Actually, can I expand on that? There's like 12 articles coming out. I've written, I think, 4 or 5 of them so far, and I think there's 2 that are available right now for you to read. The first one's kind of like an intro. Voice also wrote one that's about staking vaults, and then there's another one kind of talking about a lot of what I just spoke about, but also including the blockchain models for like a masternode concept. So really describing what we're leaving and what we're getting into. But as we go forward, there's going to be more articles, 1 or 2 a week that are really about different aspects of Divi 3.0. There'll be an article about subscriptions. There'll be an article about escrow, what you could use it for, and why it's unique in our chain. Staking, masternodes, lottery. I wrote a lottery one, re-explaining again about how the lottery is working. I think I nailed it better than I or anyone has written about it before. I feel good about this one. And those will be going out. There's about a dozen of them that'll be going out for the entire month of July.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rob. I think we've got a question here.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I had a question. Thanks, you guys, for coming on today. The question is, so if we upgraded our desktop masternode that, like, maybe we run it through the cloud, is that's considered a hot, right? Because we're not setting up our computer to be on all the time. Or wait. Can you explain that one more time? I'm so sorry.
Let me just clarify.
Sure. The model of them. Go ahead.
I was just going to clarify that a hot wallet isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? A hot wallet isn't necessarily bad. It comes down to, Satoshi used hot wallets, right? So there's no question. So when we say hot or cold, it creates fear or it creates comfort, and that's a false premise. it is a cryptographic thing that we can talk about. It's okay that you have a local wallet running. It should be secured with a password. It should be secured with if it's Windows, most certainly a decent antivirus. It should do these kinds of things. What's cold is the masternode. What's cold is the masternode is 100% always connected to computers, the internet in the cloud. And you'd never want to store coins in that and leave that connected in the cloud, wherever could be in Singapore. Who knows where it is? It's somewhere in the world. You would never just want to put coins in that and let that run live and potentially unlocked if some hacker could get in there and steal your coins, So there's different ways. But I'll stop now and let you fill in the details, Rob.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the masternode follows the kind of the cold. It's it's not quite staking, but it kind of follows the cold wallet model I was describing before, in where the masternode work is happening in a separate place from where the funds are. So the model being used by the masternode network and the model being used by validator vaults is very similar, in that where the work is happening and where the funds are two different places.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
No problem.
I don't want
Anybody else?
I just don't want to run a computer myself and have to be responsible for all the work, because I'm just too busy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
thank you.
Have you ever used an Airbnb before?
Yeah.
So think about it like an Airbnb. So when you want to go somewhere or use something, it's managed by a host, right? So all Divi Labs does for you in its infrastructure on Mochi is it has a property somewhere it's going to set up for you, and you're going to use virtually, right? That's all you're doing, is using it virtually and using your work in that location. If the server needs an update, who does that, right? So Mochi would do that, or I won't say Vochi. We'll do that. It will update the server and those things. So you don't have to. That's what you're paying the hosting fee for. But your coins stay with you. Your coins stay with you, or through cryptography, which all that means is that it's nothing you have to actually move your keys somewhere so they can be spent or otherwise. It works virtually afar from you. So yeah, it makes it a little bit more peaceful at mind, right? You don't have to worry about that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for asking the question as well. Shall we take some questions from the questions we had through?
Yeah, well, we had the one question somebody had posed about when is Chaos Cube going to accept eDivi, right? And I think I tweeted to Chaos Cube because I'm not sure how that all works. And Chaos Cube said that for their NFTs, they were going to start summoning, I think is the word that they use. You'll be able to get your Chaos Cube NFTs with eDivi in the very near future. So that's the one question that I think we had covered there.
Awesome. That's great. Any other questions from the floor?
Maybe everyone else knows this, but what's the difference between eDivi and Divi? Thank you.
Who wants that?
So that's I got it. That's not too bad. So eDivi is simply a one-to-one representation of a Divi on Ethereum. So for every eDivi, there's a Divi. And so when you're using eDivi on Ethereum, and right now, it's relatively limited places. You can, there's some places to buy NFTs. There's some places to, there's the liquidity pool. Soon there'll be stake farms, all those kind of things. But all it is a representation of a Divi that exists.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
There were some other questions that we had regarding some of the other features and functionalities that had been talked about in the past, and I think that we did somewhat address them through the future of Divi 3.0 that will sort of I shouldn't say mitigate, but make obsolete those original ideas, right? I think that's probably what we could
Yeah.
say. So they were posed in the form, and I said we would address them, but that's where that change happens, makes it all possible.
Absolutely, yeah. So some of the things that we've been looking at, that's probably now going back a year, or probably even a bit more than that. We looked at it in one of the last roadmaps, like NFT 2.0, SideQuest, and things like that. I think, once we started focusing on things that are really going to drive you utility and where we're going to get the most gains and the most value for you, we need to then pick and say, right, okay, we can't work on 10 different things. We have to pick the ones that are going to really work and really going to add value to all of you guys. So we have focused on, what we're working on now, the side chains and everything else, Divi 3.0. And I think, Rob, you wanted to add a bit more to that as well.
Not too much more. I wish there was more I could talk about, honestly, with regard to the future going forward. But yeah, we are definitely focusing on specific technologies and it's all future. It's all future looking. But again, we do these every week. I rehash specific concepts which are really important, which is all the work we're doing right now. Getting rid of the master nodes and all the core cleanup that we've been working on for months and months and months is all towards security and an incredible expansion of utility that is coming with our sidechain technology. But other than that, I can't really dive into details. I'm on Twitter Spaces and it's very difficult. But that's part of the reason I like to write the articles is where I can go and dive down deep into little parts of it, and so that we can discuss these kind of things afterward, or if there's questions and so forth. But other than that, I can't really expand too much on how we're proceeding without going down rat holes and yammering on and losing people and getting the glaze face.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Remember, if you have questions and you don't feel comfortable about coming up on stage here, if you want to call it a stage, virtual stage, you can go ahead and fill out that form I posted. I didn't post it today or yesterday, but it's a permanent form. It's a permanent link, and you can get it in Discord. And if I remember to post it, I will post it. But you can post your questions there, and they will come to us, and we will see them. And we may not be able to answer them exactly that week, depending upon when they come in. But we will read them. They all get read, and they all get answered one way or another, either directly or Twitter Spaces or otherwise. So please make sure you send in those questions. Or jump up on stage.
Awesome. Yep. Thanks, Voice. I think maybe that's it then. Rob, have you finished your Ironman, or are you still yet to do it?
No, Ironman is on Sunday. And so today was my last training day. Tomorrow's a rest day. And then Sunday's the big day. So
great. Good luck.
Thank you. I'm in a beautiful area of France right now. We swim up this channel, which is kind of fun, through all the boats. And then there's a 90-kilometer bike ride in the hills of I forgot the name of this valley, of course, but there's lots of vineyards. And then we run actually along this 5-kilometer beach. We go up and down it twice. So, I will be tired.
Enjoy it a lot.
I can't. You gotta send some pictures.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yes, my wife takes them. I look horrible.
Let's all wish Rob good luck, and try and join him on a little walk or a hike or something. Get out there, get outdoors, and we'll see you all next week in the next space.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Happy weekends.